Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time your body felt light, safe, and truly supported when you moved? Not rushed, not forced, just comfortable. Because for many people over 60, movement no longer feels like freedom. It feels like risk. I still remember a patient of mine, a woman in her early 70s, who sat across from me gripping the arms of her chair. She looked strong on the outside, but her voice trembled when she said, "Doctor, everyone tells me to walk more. But every time I try, my knees ache, my back tightens, and I'm afraid I'll fall." She wasn't lazy. She wasn't unmotivated. She was scared. And she felt like she was failing her health. If that sounds even a little bit like you, stay with me. Because today, I want to reveal something that surprises almost everyone I speak to, a gentle chair yoga exercise. One that looks almost too simple to matter. And yet, for many adults over 60, it can be more effective, safer, and more sustainable than walking. Now, before you dismiss that idea, let me slow this down with you. I'm not here to attack walking. Walking can be wonderful. But the body you have at 30 is not the body you have at 60 or 70 or 80. Joints change. Balance changes. Circulation changes. Muscles that once protected you quietly weaken. And when we keep forcing the same advice without listening to those changes, people end up in pain, or they stop moving altogether. And that is the real danger. Not that you're not walking enough, but that fear, discomfort, or exhaustion slowly convince you to move less and less. What if movement didn't have to hurt to help? What if improving circulation, strength, flexibility, and even heart health didn't require pounding your joints or pushing through pain? What if the safest place to begin wasn't on a sidewalk, but in a chair? In this video, I'm going to walk you through why a specific gentle chair yoga movement can outperform walking for many people after 60. I'll explain what actually happens inside your body as you age, why traditional advice often misses the mark, and how this one simple practice supports your joints, your muscles, your balance, and your nervous system at the same time. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll also show you how this approach restores confidence. Because physical strength is important, but confidence is what gets you moving tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Here's something most people don't realize. Walking is a repetitive, forward-only motion. Over time, especially with stiff hips, weak glutes, or tight ankles, that repetition can actually reinforce imbalances. Chair yoga, when done gently and correctly, works the body in multiple directions. It wakes up muscles that have been asleep for years. It improves blood flow without spiking stress hormones. And most importantly, it meets your body where it is today. I've seen patients who could barely tolerate a 10-minute walk rediscover movement through chair-based exercises. Their swelling reduced, their balance improved. Their breathing became calmer, and perhaps the biggest change of all, they stopped dreading movement. Now I want to be very clear. This is not about doing fancy poses or twisting yourself into uncomfortable shapes. This is not about flexibility contests or pushing limits. This is about controlled, intentional movement that sends a powerful message to your body. You are safe, you are supported, and you are capable. As we go forward, I'll explain why this kind of movement improves circulation to the legs and feet, how it strengthens the deep stabilizing muscles that protect your joints, and why it can actually reduce the risk of falls more effectively than walking alone. And there's one moment later in this video where I'll explain a mistake I see almost every well-meaning older adult make when they try to stay active. That one mistake quietly undoes a lot of their effort. When you hear it, I think you'll recognize yourself or someone you love immediately. So take a breath with me. Let your shoulders relax. You don't need to prove anything here. You're not behind. Your body isn't broken. It's just asking for a smarter, kinder approach. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn may change the way you think about movement for the rest of your life. Now let's gently go a little deeper, and I promise to keep this simple and clear. As we age, the body doesn't just slow down, it adapts. Muscle fibers shrink, especially the ones responsible for stability and balance. Joints lose lubrication. Nerves communicate a little more slowly. And circulation, particularly to the legs and feet, becomes less efficient. None of this means something is wrong with you. It means your body is asking for a different kind of conversation. Here's where walking often gets misunderstood. Walking is a weight-bearing, repetitive movement. Every step sends force up through the feet, knees, hips, and spine. For a younger body with strong shock absorption, that's fine. But after 60, when cartilage is thinner and stabilizing muscles are weaker, That same force can create inflammation instead of strength. That's why so many people tell me, "Doctor, I walk every day, but my knees still hurt." Or, "I walk, but I feel stiff afterward, not better." The problem isn't effort. The problem is mismatch. Chair yoga works differently because it removes unnecessary stress while keeping what actually matters. When you're seated, your joints are supported. That support allows your nervous system to relax. And when the nervous system relaxes, muscles can engage more effectively. This is something we see over and over again in rehabilitation medicine. Think of it like this. If your body feels threatened, it guards, muscles tighten, breathing becomes shallow, movement becomes cautious. But when your body feels safe, muscles wake up in a coordinated way. Blood flows more smoothly. Balance improves because your brain isn't on high alert. That's why a gentle chair-based movement can sometimes activate more useful muscle fibers than a forced walk. Let me give you a real-life example. I once worked with a retired gentleman in his late 60s who was determined to walk every morning. He believed that if he skipped walking, he was giving up. But every walk left him exhausted and sore, and within weeks he started avoiding movement altogether. We replaced his walks with 10 to 15 minutes of chair yoga focused on slow leg lifts, controlled ankle movements, spinal lengthening, and breathing. Within a month, his leg strength improved, his swelling reduced, and here's the surprising part. He eventually returned to walking, but this time without pain. The chair didn't weaken him, it prepared him. Now let's bust a big myth right here. Many people believe that if an exercise doesn't make you sweat or feel tired, it doesn't count. That idea causes more harm than most people realize. Especially after 60, effectiveness is not measured by exhaustion. It's measured by consistency, recovery, and how your body feels the next day. Chair yoga improves something called neuromuscular coordination. That's the communication between your brain and your muscles. Walking mainly trains endurance in a straight line. Chair yoga trains control, awareness, and balance. And balance, more than speed or distance, is what protects independence as we age. Another myth is that sitting exercises are only for people who are too weak. That couldn't be further from the truth. In medical settings, we use seated movements to retrain muscles after surgery, stroke, and injury because they allow precision. Precision builds strength faster than strain. And here's something most people never hear. Gentle movement improves circulation not by forcing the heart to pump harder, but by activating the muscles that help push blood back toward the heart. When you slowly extend and flex the legs, rotate the ankles, and engage the core while seated, you're assisting circulation in a controlled, joint-friendly way. That's especially important if you experience cold feet, swelling, or heaviness in the legs. Now let me pause you right here, because this next part is important. If you've ever felt guilty for not walking enough, that guilt may actually be holding you back. Stress hormones triggered by guilt and fear can make inflammation worse. Chair yoga sends the opposite signal. It says, "We're moving, but we're not in danger." That shift alone can reduce pain sensitivity. In a moment, I'm going to show you how this kind of movement fits into daily life, what mistakes to avoid, and how to get the benefits without overdoing it. There's one habit many people adopt with good intentions that actually slows their progress. And once you hear it, you'll understand why gentle doesn't mean ineffective. Stay with me. You're doing exactly what your body needs by learning first and moving smarter. Now let's talk about how this actually looks in real life, because understanding is helpful, but guidance is what changes things. Imagine starting your day without pressure. You don't lace up shoes, brace yourself for uneven ground, or worry about how far you'll go. You simply sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, spine tall but relaxed. The first thing we focus on isn't movement at all, it's breath. Slow, steady breathing tells your nervous system that it's safe to participate. This is not just calming, it's strategic. When breathing improves, oxygen delivery improves and muscles respond more willingly. From there, the movements are slow and intentional. A gentle lift of one leg at a time, not high, just enough to engage the thigh. A controlled extension and return. Ankle circles that wake up circulation all the way to the toes. Subtle core engagement as you lengthen your spine instead of slumping. Each movement is small, but together they send a powerful signal to your body that strength is still accessible. Here's what matters most. You're not rushing. Speed is not the goal. Control is. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people trying to turn gentle movement into a workout competition. They add too many repetitions, hold their breath, or push through discomfort because they believe pain equals progress. After 60, pain is not a badge of honor, it's feedback. And when you ignore it, the body responds by tightening and protecting itself, which is the opposite of what we want. Another common mistake is inconsistency. Some people do too much on one day, feel sore, then avoid movement for a week. Gentle chair yoga works best when it becomes a daily ritual, even if it's just 10 minutes. 10 calm, focused minutes every day will outperform an intense session once or twice a week almost every time. Let's talk about lifestyle support because movement doesn't exist in isolation. Hydration plays a bigger role than most people realize. Dehydrated muscles fatigue faster and joints feel stiffer. A simple habit of drinking water before and after your chair session can noticeably improve how your body responds. Nutrition matters too, but not in a complicated way. Adequate protein supports muscle maintenance. Colorful vegetables support circulation and reduce inflammation. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. Sleep also influences how well movement helps you. Gentle chair yoga earlier in the day often improves sleep quality because it reduces nervous system tension. Better sleep means better recovery. Better recovery means stronger muscles and more confidence the next day. Now let me address something emotional because it comes up often. Many people feel embarrassed starting with chair-based movement. They worry it means they're declining. I want you to hear this clearly. Choosing the safest, smartest option is not weakness, it's wisdom. Strength is built by respecting where you are, not by pretending you're somewhere else. Here's a powerful shift I've seen again and again. When people begin with chair yoga, they regain trust in their bodies. That trust leads to better posture. Better posture leads to improved balance. Improved balance reduces fear. And when fear goes down, movement naturally increases. This is how independence is protected. Not by forcing yourself to walk when your body resists, but by preparing your body so walking becomes enjoyable again, if and when you choose to return to it. In the final part, I want to talk to you about hope. Real hope, not motivational slogans. I want to remind you what your body is still capable of, and why it's never too late to feel strong, steady, and confident again. Before we finish, I want you to take a quiet moment with me and remember something important. Your body has carried you through decades of life. Through work, family, stress, joy, loss, and change. It hasn't given up on you. It's been adapting, protecting, and waiting for the right kind of care. So many people believe aging means shrinking their world, fewer walks, fewer outings, less confidence. But what I've seen, time and time again, is the opposite. When movement feels safe again, life expands. People stand taller. They move with intention. They stop measuring their worth by how far or how fast they can go and start measuring it by how well they feel. That gentle chair yoga movement we talked about isn't just an exercise, it's a conversation with your body. It says, I'm listening now. And when the body feels heard, it responds in remarkable ways. I've watched people who once feared falling regain steadiness. I've seen swollen ankles soften, stiff backs loosen, and tired legs rediscover strength. Not overnight, not magically, but steadily, calmly, and sustainably. That's the kind of progress that lasts. If you remember only one thing from this entire video, let it be this. The best exercise after 60 is not the one that looks impressive. It's the one you can do consistently, safely, and without fear. Movement should support your life, not intimidate it. You are not behind. You are not broken. And you are certainly not done. Start where you are. Use the chair. Move with care. Breathe with intention. And allow strength to return in its own time. Even small steps, taken gently, can lead to profound change. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to support the channel by liking this video. It helps us reach others who may be quietly struggling in the same way. Consider subscribing if you want more calm, trustworthy guidance designed specifically for life after 60. And if you feel comfortable, leave a comment below. Share your experience, your concerns, or simply let us know you're here. You're not alone in this journey. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your body. It's still very much on your side.